You ever get your ass kicked by a movie? Because that's what just happened to me. I just watched The Whale. It's available on Netflix now. It's not what I was expecting. Let's just say that that was basically like a horror movie without the horror. That was one of the most intense things I've ever seen in my entire life. The movie's about a man who feels like he has lost everything and retreats into trying to end his own life with consistent eating and laziness and basically letting himself rot because he lost the love of his life. He is estranged from his daughter. His ex-wife hates him. There's nothing quite like it though. It's like the movie doesn't follow a typical plot where there's like a conflict and a struggle that needs to be overcame. This is a character piece. The Whale is basically you're spending a set amount of time basically in the last days of this guy's life with him, and you get to really explore his mentality and what pushed him to this point and feel the claustrophobia and the weight of everything in the world not really being there for you and not feeling like you accomplished anything. Emotionally, there's so much to unpack here, and it's so relatable for everybody, not just dealing with obesity and loss, but in general to like the human experience and how it feels to be trapped in our own bodies and the lack of control that we feel within society. I gotta say, every single performance in this movie is absolutely spectacular. Brendan Fraser, especially, they have him in a suit to hyper accentuate his weight, and his acting is not only convincing, but it is by far the best part of this movie. Like, growing up, I was a massive fan of the Mummy movies and, George of the Jungle, Monkey Bone. But none of those things, even though they are amazing, ever really showed us just how much Brandon Fraser could give this world. And I definitely saw that. I'm absolutely thrilled that this was his comeback piece. But at the same time, like, I feel really bad for him because of everything that he went through in Hollywood. And I think this also maybe reflects that a little bit on how he was treated and how his mentality has worked and how he thought about just letting himself become nothing and, not stress over the same things that he had before that caused him so much trauma. It's really beautiful watching that. And, Sadie Sink, or the girl from Stranger Things, she's absolutely spectacular. She was a great actress there. But here, it's real, it's raw. She knocks it out of the park. It is probably the best thing I've ever seen her in. She was also in on Fear Street, which she's really, really good in. But you watch her in this movie, it's next level. I loved every single character. The only thing that really threw me off was one. And, I'm going to have to go into a little bit of spoilers with actual details here. But at some point, you do meet his ex wife. And even though, like, it comes and goes to a point, they really paint her out to be kind of like a bad person or something like that, I guess. It's kind of hard to describe, but like she doesn't come around as somebody you should feel sympathy for the same way you do feel for the main character, which is interesting because she's the one that got left with a daughter by a man who ran away with his love, which was his student from college, who was a man. And it's all connected to this religious concepts of what is good and what is keeping us from heaven and finding our own fulfillment in life. But at the same time, the movie does a really good job of not leaning so hard into the religious aspects that it makes you feel like you're being preached to. But there is a lot of Christian thought processes in this. I mean, one of the main side characters is a missionary from a local church to try to talk to Charlie and convince him about God. But we find out a whole bunch more about that kid. His acting, too, I believe his name was in real life Ty Simpkins. Not sure, but I think that's his name. And he was phenomenal as this missionary who was, not really questioning his faith, but finding his way to understanding it better. and that was a really nice aspect of the characters. I don't know how to say her name, but she played Liz. I think her name is Hong Chao. She was really, really good. Kind of a bit of a negative energy in the movie for Charlie, but that's only coming from a place of love and not really knowing how to proceed with him because he refuses to go to the doctor. He refuses to leave his home. He refuses to do anything to better himself, even though he has the financial means to. He works online doing college course classes, but he doesn't want to use any of that money. He wants to leave it all to his daughter, Ellie, despite the mom not knowing. So when they bring the mom in, she's very Mary, she's very negative about the situation because he's not allowed to see her. He's not supposed to be interacting with his daughter because of the fact that he left them and it resulted in her becoming a really difficult person. So, to keep these two negatives away from each other, basically, the mom said, you don't need to have anything to do with each other. So, even though he was sending child support and help and stuff like that, all he ever really got back was the very baseline information. She's doing okay. This is what's going on at school. But, it gave him with this constant longing. And about 4 years before the movie takes place, he receives an essay that Ellie wrote about Moby Dick. And it really, is the center of the film on how, as a teacher and as her father, he reflects on the little aspects of her personality that do show that even though she is crazy and rebellious and hates the world, that she's actually really smart and really cares about people and is just really, really hurt because her dad disappeared. And, that's so relatable. And every single character in this movie comes from a place that you understand and that you really want to relate to. So I would say that this movie is absolutely phenomenal. And if you do sit through it, or maybe on Netflix or however you want to watch it, it is a gut punch, and it will leave you with a lot of thoughts and feelings about what it means to be human, thinking about the fact that there really are people out there that deal with this kind of stuff. And honestly, just being human and seeing the worst, yet somehow still in some ways the best of us, it's terrifying that we could all be one level away from that mental break that keeps us from living out our lives because something or someone that we've lost or been hurt absolutely devastated us. And I really like this line in the movie where he says that on some level people can't help but care. And even the worst people in the world at some level tend to still care about people in general. And that even though his daughter hates the world because of him, he in turn sort of sees the beauty in it and wants to help his class and her and everyone realize their full potential. So there's a lot of levels to how good this movie is and what its message is trying to convey. But my main takeaway from it is that this is a claustrophobic, dramatic horror movie that is psychologically and in every other way absolutely a spectacular journey to go on. It's absolutely worth the time to sit through. It's all filmed pretty much in one location at Charlie's house. And I love small productions like that leave a big impact because it says so much to be able to just sit with a few people in a room and tell a story that really matters and speaks to people. That's not something most people can do. So I really love this movie. I love the editing. I actually respect the 4:3 ratio that it is filmed in because with Batman, not Batman v Superman, but with Justice League, Zack Snyder, it was the movie's cool, but visually fucking terrible. Hated it. Absolutely hated that he made that choice. But here it makes sense. It adds to the claustrophobia and it adds to the sense of he's constantly taking up the entirety basically of the frame. So it's like a huge person, tiny little box, and they can't escape. But in reality, the box is him, and he can't find his own way to want to live again. And the way that the movie ends up coming around to it in the end is, obviously that he passes away, and that in one last kind moment that he receives from his daughter while she's reading his essay, he ascends to heaven basically, or he dies. And at that moment, you feel that peace with him. And you feel like you were him. Like all of this mattered to you personally. Like your own traumas and devastations are reflected so well in this man that it's really like looking in a mirror. It's like to society, to yourself, to everything. It's a great movie. I was literally crying at the ending. It was, oh my God, phenomenal, phenomenal. So if you guys get the chance to watch this movie, please do. It is awesome. It will punch you right in the face and not give a fuck, but you will have a worthwhile time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you check it out. Bye, guys.